Hello, Sagittarius, and welcome to your February forecast. I'm Nicholas Ashbaugh. I am really pleased to be here. I hope you're doing well. Also, before I begin, let's say hello to Apollo, who is just getting comfortable and stretching. So we'll let him be. Thanks, buddy. And we're going to focus on channeled messages. So there were a couple of images that came through in meditation. The first was a rainbow, which I see as ultimately very auspicious, but it is kind of like a nod to the fact that many of you have been through a challenging month, a challenging moment in time. And it's kind of the wonderful reward we get for going through the rain and drizzle of our lives. And sometimes that can be difficulty in work, difficulty in relationships, etc. But the rainbow represents the sort of light at the end of the tunnel. To get us to that rainbow, the second thing that I saw was ivy kind of like crawling its way up a building. And it reminds me of like incremental steps towards something stronger and to never stop reaching for your moment in the light. So like the star energy, it's about reaching. But it happens sort of like one little twirl at a time as the ivy is moving its way along a trellis, for instance. So this month is going to be about building, rebuilding, reaching, and not losing focus with what that end goal is, because that's also the light at the end of the tunnel. So as I take a look at the spread today, I'd like to keep an eye out for cards like the Seven of Pentacles or the Star card, or maybe even the Ten of Cups, because it usually has a rainbow on it, and see if there are some specific messages around that. But otherwise, those three cards that I just mentioned also pertain to this month ahead. Friends and family, like the Ten of Cups. Seven of Pentacles, gentle rebuilding. And then the Star card, your moment to shine. Because there is always balance in this world. To the challenge, there's also joy, happiness, and those high moments as well. All right, let's get the cards out and see what's coming through. Please close your eyes for a moment. Imagine that the sun is shining directly overhead. In this circle of light, you are connected to source energy and protected. Let's call in angels, spirit guides, and ascended masters and see what's coming forth. Right off the bat, we have the Star card, which is great. All right, as your catalyst here, we have the Wolf card. It was reversed, so we can look at all three of these as areas where you might put a little bit of energy. Wilderness, I ascribe that to the unknown, getting yourself out of your comfort zone. Leadership, just like it sounds, speaking up a little bit more, taking more accountability. And for some of you, it's just a matter of being seen and heard. Sometimes that extra little bit of exposure can be uncomfortable if you're not used to being in the foreground. And then we have kinship. Kinship is that connection with chosen family, friends, the peers at school and work, and just building a little bit more energy in that part of your life. Ultimately, all of that wants to come through, but there could be a little bit of hesitation in embracing that or stepping into it. So as I quickly glance at the table, interestingly enough, I noticed that there are a lot of reversals today. We have a few that are upright, the Lovers, the High Priestess, and the Destiny card, which are great. But the rest are reversed, and that doesn't panic me one bit. I spent a lot of time shuffling the decks before we get started, so when a card comes through reversed, it's meant to be read as reversed, and sometimes it shows a block, sometimes it shows healing. So without leaving any comments or getting stressed out about it, trust that I'm going to help us get into the energy of growth and movement, and I just wanted to address that first and foremost. All right, the Star card at the center. I said I would keep an eye out for this. This is an auspicious card. It represents a moment in time where if you don't fight the flow, that's the reversal. If you don't fight the flow, there is abundance that wants to come into your life. What is the star? Conspicuous. It shines. It's out there front and center. She holds two different chalices or water, containers. And basically this represents the ability for energy to flow through you, much like the magician. But if you block your sort of authentic self, maybe because you're afraid of being seen, what will people think if I do what I love? What will people think if I say what I want to say? Then sometimes that means a stunted growth, or it's almost as if you're taking a dimmer switch and not shining as brightly as you should. Let things flow through you authentically. Stand in your light. Be the wonderful, brilliant, unique person that you are. It's that unique energy that makes you stand out. By the way, if you're in a relationship and somebody wants you to keep your voice down, wants you to blend in a little bit more, there's room for 2 stars in any relationship. When we look into astronomy, most star systems are double, triple, sometimes even more, and it's our own star system here that's kind of unique where there's just one sun. So you shouldn't have to change to please others. This is your moment to really lean into authenticity and don't step back from the spotlight. All right, crossing this card, we have the 8 of Pentacles. In this moment in time, you may want to lean a little bit more into educational ventures. So if you want to take a class, get certification, learn something new, work with a mentor, all of that energy is comprised within here. If you are an artisan, whether you write or create some sort of a product or you knit things and sell them, this card is showing that you can get a lot of work done in this period of time. This is also about putting things into a written format like a curriculum that could be used by other people. And not only that, but like technical writing, creative writing. This is the act of creating it, where the 3 of Pentacles might be the act of like completing it and mastering it. This is a great time to get started. You can get a lot done, and the 8 of Pentacles shows that whatever you're putting your time, your energy, or your money into, you should start to see a return on it. And now is a great time to get started. Looking into the deep past, we have the 3 of Wands. The 3 of Wands is in the reverse position. In the 3 of Wands, you'll notice that there are ships coming in on the horizon. The interesting thing with this, when it's reversed, is it's saying that there is this limited scope of view that might be somehow giving you a false negative. So typically, the 3 of Wands represents right here, right now. Things are manifesting, things are happening. As we see here, it very much depends on where you're looking and what you're expecting to see. If you expect something to happen at a certain time, in a certain shape, at a certain location, and only there, you're limiting the 360 degrees all around you. So open up. You might be too specific, too limited, or too literal in the way that you're looking for something to come through. Flip it around, flip the script, imagine something different, and you might find that what you seek could be like right in front of you, it could be right here. Your ideas are just needing to expand a little bit. So with that being said, you've actually done the work, and it's just about keeping an open heart, keeping an open mind, and looking in other spaces and places. Getting what? Outside of your comfort zone, which of course ties into that first piece on this catalyst, which is the wilderness or liminal space. As we take a look here at the recent past, we have the Lovers coming through. Give people the benefit of the doubt. Let them in. I love that the angel up here has her hands on the heart, and she's saying just like, let me in. That's why the star is at the center, but the star is reversed. So for some of you, it could just be an internal dialogue that's holding you back. Fear over like, what will they think? Will they love me? Will it be okay? And the angel's kind of saying, just let it be yourself. So another round of encouragement to step into a new version of yourself, to let that sort of old version go and just go for it. Relationships could be taking more of a center stage. And if there's something that you need to put out into the world, whether it is like you need to have a presentation or a difficult conversation, or you want to express love or appreciation, now is the time to do it because the other party is receptive. Lean into this energy. It should take you through the middle to end of the month. In the crowning position here, we have the Moon card coming through. This is one of those that I talked about. When it's reversed, it can be better. This is about realizing that fear doesn't really have a seat at your table right now. In this illustration, we can see instead of a lobster, we see the sort of shadow energy coming out of the body of water here, and that represents fear, anxiety, doubt, things that we are afraid to look at. There's a part of you this month that can heal the inner child, that can release something that has been sort of like hanging over you, whether it was fear, anxiety, or self-doubt, so that you can get on that path that stands between what usually is the wolf and the dog. So don't be afraid to dig a little bit deeper. You don't have to do this alone. You can reach out to a therapist, to a counselor, to a friend. Now, we have humans here instead of the dog and the wolf, but what they represent are the kind of nexus between instinct and also like what you're trained to do and knowledge. And we have to kind of find that in-between ground, trusting our intuition and allowing for sometimes the road to be not the straight and narrow, but the winding road. It's not always about how quickly you get there. It's about what you learn. And it's also not about the shortest path. It's about the most rewarding path. And the moon reminds us that sometimes we have to face those fears, like, will I be okay? Is this going to be all right? And here is the more traditional version of it. One thing that I want to call into mind here is, first of all, I wanted to pull out the sort of the wolf because it's part of the totem. But there could be a call and answer. If you're looking for someone, if you're looking for something, part of it is tell the universe, tell your higher self, like speak it into existence as well. I'm interested in this. I would like that. Why isn't this happening? Use your voice to bring it into the physical realm. And avoid gossip and any sort of like noise that's going on in the environment, because I think of the howling and it can just be people making a lot of noise. So the reversal of this is avoiding unnecessary competition, unnecessary conflict, making sure that you are facing your fears and anxieties and walking that path, which is sometimes a winding path, okay? If anybody is acting foolishly, this can sometimes represent a person lying or not being a person of integrity. Then it's important to call that out and set expectations, loud and clear what you need and what you want. All right, in the near future, we have an auspicious card, 10 of Pentacles. It's in the reverse position, but it's still good. So what happens sometimes with the 10 of Pentacles reversed is it's pressure, familial pressure, peer pressure, and sometimes even our internal dialogue to measure up to our own expectations. But when we take a look at what this card comprises, it's friends and family, it's resources, success, sometimes marriage, and this is about also that networking or finding that the pack energy that we're looking at for the wolf here. So in order to find all of that, just don't make it so serious. Don't make it be such a sort of pressure-oriented energy. Do something because you believe in it, you feel passionate about it, and know that when you are in that authentic, joyful, and impassioned state, you will naturally accomplish what you set out to do. If you need help, ask for help. You don't need to put more on your plate than necessary. And by all means, don't put any more pressure on yourself than you need to be putting on yourself. When it comes to friends and family, if they're trying to force you into getting married, taking a certain type of job, or doing something that makes them happy, take a step back, say no, and stand in your light and say, that's you, that's not me. And that also is conditional love, not unconditional love. So they can take it or leave it, and that's kind of what the 10 of Pentacles is showing. Look at how valuable, look at how lovable, look at how successful you are. And if that's not enough, then that is more a reflection of the other party than it is of you. All right, let's take a look at you, and this is arguably the most important card in the entire spread here. We have the High Priestess coming forth, and she's saying, make of this whatever you'd like to make of it. So if you're focusing on the act of creation, development, and movement, you'll see it. If you're focusing on fears and anxieties, you're amplifying those. Ultimately, this is a really good card for manifesting hopes, dreams, and goals. So let's lean into that. Trust your instincts when they arrive. They are there for a reason. And put this to good work. So we have someone here with a laptop. I love the modern take on the High Priestess. She's saying, channel your thoughts in real time. to create something new. And one of the things I like to do is to keep a dream journal. You can do this with your phone by dictating into it, recording it like a voice memo. As you get ideas throughout the day, use the Notepad app on your phone. And also, for those of you that are old school, just write it down. Just make sure that somewhere you have record of what it is that you're working on. And that way you can later kind of glean off of those great ideas, and you're going to see great movement this month. This is also connected, of course, to spiritual development and psychic development, so you can lean more into that if you would like to as well. All right, let's take a look here at your environment. We have the Seven of Wands. For many of you, this is an encouragement to work smarter, to delegate, not to take on more than you need to. This represents someone who's willing and ready to push your limits, so sometimes people are just going to keep asking until you say no. If there's a difficult conversation in front of you, a negotiation, for instance, this is saying come prepared. Make sure that you've done all your research, that you're willing to stand up for what matters most. This can also represent competition. So for those of you that are job seeking, and we'll get way more into that in a little bit, but job seekers may find a more competitive job market. So you want to do anything and everything to kind of lean into the star power that we talked about at the center of the spread. All right, let's take a look at hopes, fears, and opportunities. So we have Queen of Pentacles, Seven of Swords. We can see this as a person. The cards were reversed, by the way. The Queen of Pentacles in reverse is someone who is more keen on taking care of themselves than you, and sometimes they're willing to say or do something, almost anything sometimes, to make sure that they get what they need. Really be mindful of new people that come into your life, or anybody that already kind of contains that sort of energy where it's just about them. All right, so a little bit of a cautionary note for people that fall into that category. Taking these as individual cards. Seven of Swords represents someone trying to get away with stuff. Seven of Swords in reverse is a realization in this moment in time, particularly when you're looking at yourself, to just be honest with yourself and others and hold others to the same expectation. But in order for them to do that, you've got to kind of emanate and model the behavior. Queen of Pentacles in reverse, representing you, can be a decision to take better care of yourself. She's a universal maternal force, just like the Empress. And when it's reversed, she's saying, you know what? I'm exhausted. I've given to this person, this person, this person. And in this moment in time, I need to do something for myself. Personal enrichment, healing, nurturing, self-care. One final interpretation for these two cards is imposter syndrome. Literally, you can see someone getting away with something here. And this card is about success. So you put the two together, and it feels like the inner saboteur coming out saying, you're not worthy of this. You're an imposter. This is just a lack of confidence, an old system coming through an old program, and we need to delete and reboot that. You deserve all that you've worked hard to achieve in your life. Don't second guess your skills, celebrate this moment, and shine brightly. Let's go ahead now and take a look at what's coming through in your outcome. And in the outcome, we have a page, the Page of Wands in reverse. So people may need more than one way to see something in order to understand it. So using multiple ways of communicating, written communication, visual communication, demonstrations, prototypes. Sometimes people just have a hard time getting the idea. And there are some people that just lack the imagination out there. So if you're working with one person and you kind of feel like you're up against a wall, find someone else. This is especially true if you're trying to get an approval or get someone to buy into an idea. In your own life, this is about the fine balance between being stubborn and being too sort of like tunnel vision on something. So there are times when it makes sense to be stubborn, stand up for yourself, fight for something. But sometimes if we are too insistent that something happens, like I said, in one way, shape, or form, we miss the other opportunities that might be sailing in. So just keep an open mind this month and just entertain the possibility that something might come through in a different way, shape, or form. Let's take a moment now and expand this forecast and dig a little bit deeper into health, wealth, love, and destiny. As always, we'll begin with health, which is your mind, body, and spirit. So we have the Lion card, which is absolutely connected to the Strength card in tarot. And when this card is reversed, oftentimes what's happening is a lack of vitality, which can come from putting too much like mental real estate into worrying about something that you can't control. There can legitimately be just depletion of your energy because you're working too much. And so here we can see even the traditional illustration. It can be also like how much you're putting into a relationship, trying to manage someone to see it from your perspective. Ultimately, it leads to this feeling of fatigue, diminishing returns. So if you're exhausted, take it easy. Take a day off. You may have a deadline, you may have expectations, but sacrificing health to achieve that is counterproductive because it's going to cost more in the long run, okay? So that's one thing. You might simply be feeling a lack of courage or a lack of comfort in stepping up to a leadership role because the lion is also the king of the jungle. So you might be just kind of like when it comes to divine masculine or the king energy in tarot, having a hard time taking the reins. But you've got this ultimately. And we'll look more at that when we go into career. But the exhaustion and fatigue, that's the most important takeaway. Please, please rest. Other messages coming forth here. The moon card can represent reproductive organs. So if it's been a minute since you've been to a urologist or an OBGYN, now could be a good time to get that checked out. It can also have to do with how you're processing water, whether you're dehydrated or overhydrated. Make sure that that's okay. And if you're trying to have a child, a reverse moon card can show that stress could negatively impact that. So taking care of your mind, body, and spirit, absolutely front and center. And that does have an effect in when and how you can conceive. Okay, other things that we're looking at here. Seven of Wands, really important when you're starting a new workout routine. Sometimes we go too intensely into something new. So if it's been a minute since you've lifted weights or ran a mile or something, ease into it so you don't pull a muscle or strain something. The Seven of Swords is really important when we're looking at talking to our doctors. They need to have the full picture, and sometimes this is when we are kidding ourselves and or the doctor. Like I said, Queen of Pentacles is related to pregnancy, so I absolutely see the potential for that to happen, but stress management and just general sleep and well-being factor into how quickly and how capably you can kind of like make that happen. Other than that, things actually look fairly decent here. I love this card. I want to lean into this for a second. The High Priestess is connected with good medical health. It's a natural healing card. So any challenges that you might undergo this month, this shows that you have a really good fighting chance of coming out feeling better. Okay? Let's move on to wealth, which is your resources, life purpose, and career. And the card in this position is I call back my power. It was reversed. And this is basically a chance for you to do just that. Reclamation of power. I just talked about the strength card. In the reverse position, it can represent, hey, wait a second. I want to take this on, or I need to have a moment here and have a seat at the table. So this is, by the way, one of the best cards when it comes to being able to get what you want. We already see that element kind of coming through with the line, so I do think it's possible. All right, let's go ahead and break this down into a couple of subcategories. We're going to start off with those of you that are presently employed. If you have a job, here's the good news. The star card is conspicuous. People are taking note. The Lovers, very good. You work well with others. Eight of Pentacles, you bring a lot of knowledge to the table. And 10 of Pentacles, you're in sort of like this perfect alignment to level up. If you're not seeing the leveling up, it could have to do with corporate culture because of the moon. And it's important to advocate for yourself. If you want something, speak up. The High Priestess can bring into existence something even if it isn't on the table. So now is a great time to chat with people. Be mindful of who you talk to. The Moon and the Seven of Swords are people in your sort of vicinity that just lack integrity. And so it's best if you just have these conversations directly with the decision makers. The only thing that I'm not loving here in the outcome is that we have a page. The page is good for listening, but I want to see a king, a queen, a knight, etc. And they may promise you something, Seven of Swords and Queen of Pentacles, but they fall short of the promise. Get it in writing. That's the most important thing. The other thing here is there just might be a limit to how high you can go as far as your job title. And if that's not good enough, at least you'll find out sooner than later, and you can always look to see if there's a transfer opportunity or maybe a new job on the horizon outside of here. 10 of Pentacles is good, though, and I think part of this is you saying, wait a second, all of these things that we see in the center comprise my sort of like performance, and there's no reason that I shouldn't be able to get to the next level. Make a case for yourself. You have a good one. Avoid gossip. Seven of Swords and the Moon. Someone will share that information and it won't bode well. And if there's something that you shouldn't talk about, don't talk about it, because these cards are revealing cards. Okay, moving on to entrepreneurs. Entrepreneurs, how can you be a little bit more unique in this landscape? The Star card shows that you've got it, but the reversal is saying that you might be trying to blend in too much with the competition when you should be jumping off the page. So lean into something quirky, unique, or unusual about your brand. I feel pretty good about the finances right now. It's looking great, actually. I think the main thing here is, can you keep up with the demand? It might be better to limit some of the orders and have something that's sold out or on back order, or just discontinue it for a little bit so you can catch up, because you don't want to take on more than you can produce, sell, etc. The Moon card can also represent someone on the staff that is just not feeling it. They might not be in the same swim lane as you when it comes to expectations and what's being done. So deal with that sooner than later. And if it's a customer, it's really important to reach out and solve that problem before it kind of becomes something bigger and they make a mountain out of a molehill. So issue the refund, issue an apology, get that sorted. It's not the end of the world, but it does need to be dealt with. Okay, let me see if there's anything else here. For some of you, I'm getting connecting, like maybe there's a chance to work with schools and find like an intern or do something really cool here with giving back, because I'm getting a community vibe when I'm looking at the Ten of Pentacles. So whether it's sponsoring a scholarship program, bringing on interns, or counseling, like career counseling, there's something cool here that you could do that will help put you in a great place for like future job seekers. And that's how companies grow. You want to be a great place that people come to. So think about how to give back as well. Research and development, very important as well here. Okay, moving on to job seekers. This is the most powerful card here. The High Priestess can identify a need even if it doesn't exist. One of my best jobs I got by doing a cold application or email to an assistant at a company saying, hey, I've been looking at your services. It looks like you could use this position. Do you hire there? And they're like, by the way, we're just creating that job description. Send me your resume now. So you can sometimes identify and pitch an idea, and the High Priestess shows just that. The Star card, again, delineating and differentiating what it is that you do and standing out. Super important. If you have the time and the ability to learn something new right now, I should say the bandwidth, that's what you want to do. Like maybe taking a night course or getting an additional certification that can help you get in a job that you want. Great time for that also. Be honest with what you're putting on your resume. And if you catch a company that is like not super honest about their job description, or you know that there's more to the equation, like think about if that's a place you really want to work if they're not telling you the truth from the beginning. Can you find something? Yes. Lean into the Ten of Pentacles is usually family and former coworkers or students. So people that you know, it may not like be best friends, but these people are connected, and I feel like they could do a favor if you need that. Okay, moving onward to students. Students, it looks great actually overall. This is a perfect card for learning. So is this. When it comes to an important term paper, make sure that you have all of your sources put together. Nowadays, AI will sometimes do a false, like it flags it even if you've done everything right. So you need to make sure that you have a bibliography and you quote everything and attribute it correctly. And if someone flags it and it's wrong, fight and say, hey, here's an example of my writing style. You know, I wouldn't do that. Just have your sources for that. Be honest. Things have a way of showing up, so it's always better to lead with integrity. But other than that, I actually love what I see here, especially this. So with the High Priestess, by the way, if there's something that you want to create in your program, maybe it's an independent study, maybe it's a special double major or minor or something like that that doesn't exist, or even like a degree that doesn't exist, work with the admissions or the dean's office, and there might be something that you can do in that situation, okay? Retirees. I'm actually really looking at I call back my power. Many of you have given a lot to friends, family, and loved ones, and there's exhaustion. Do some things for yourself in this moment in time. Spiritual pursuits, creative pursuits, personal healing, well-being, all of that is there. And maybe taking some of your hard-earned money and deciding to invest it in yourself. whatever you're interested in, whether it's learning something new, planning a trip, but personal enrichment is coming through front and center. Okay, let's move on to love and relationships. For this, we have an archangel coming through, Archangel Raphael, and it says charity of vision, be willing to see things differently to initiate healing and experience wholeness. So let's take that in a few different categories. The first is clarity of vision. When you're in a relationship, it's sometimes hard to see eye to eye. Never make assumptions that your partner completely understands this. Wouldn't it be great if we could all just pull out a deck of cards or some tea leaves and read each other? But in real life, you have to articulate, check in. Say, does that make sense? See if they can see it from your perspective. Be willing to see things differently. Okay, so the other part of this is, like I said, being open-minded. Healing, experience, and wholeness. So this is also a chance for you, if there's anything that in the past you had a hard time facing, this is the time to do it together. Say, I'd like to help you with this, or I think we can get through this, like holding each other's hand and really allowing that healing to manifest. Okay, let's take a look at existing partnerships. I love that we have the lovers here. So there is a lot of care. There's a lot of connection. 3 of Wands. It feels like you manifested this person or vice versa. The Star card in reverse. So one of you is on a little bit of a rising story, like the trajectory is going in the right direction. The other party may be struggling a little bit, but here's the cool thing. Like energy attracts like energy. And so when one partner shines, you're both shining. So just try to be happy for one another and support one another and know that everybody gets their sort of moment in the light. So I like that. Other things here. The Moon card can represent, and the 7 of Swords. It feels like this is not necessarily in the middle of the relationship, but maybe something in your periphery. If there's something that needs to come through, like something that was swept under the table, or someone that's acting out of sorts, or something that's out of your control, talk about it. We don't have room for secrets right now. And this can represent secrets or just something that's weird that's going on. Lean into each other because these are super strong cards here. There might be a decision in this moment to want to expand the family. Make sure that you're both on the same page, rather. Don't push one another into commitment or into expansion of the family before it feels right. If you're not already married, there could be a proposal in the mix here with the 10 of Pentacles. Same thing here. Make sure that I'm on the fence when it comes to like proposing in a big way in public. I think you really want to make sure that the partner feels okay and that they have the capability to say no if they're not ready or not yet. And sometimes when there's group pressure, you take away that. So make sure that the way that you propose is giving that person room to consider, and just say, take your time and think about it, but I'm ready. Are you ready? And then leave it at that. That's my 2 cents worth with that. Okay. Otherwise, it looks fairly manageable here. So let's move on to those that are single and looking. If you're looking for love right now, can you find it? You've got the card of manifestation. Yes. You have a card of commitment. Yes. I'm not loving the connection between the Queen of Pentacles and the 7 of Swords. There could be someone that comes into your life that is afraid to show their true selves because, they may not be fully out of a relationship. They may have low self-esteem. But the Earth sign, if you see an Earth sign coming into your life, just be cautious of that. I think that in this moment in time, it's really about this center card. Being as authentic to yourself as possible. By the way, you could be pulling in an Aquarius when and if you do that. And just know that you are fine. You are more than enough for yourself and for others. And you'll likely pull that person in through work, school, or extracurricular activities. It's something where you're out and about. I don't see the perfect match in this spread, but I see that you've done the work, and it's just a matter of more fully leaning into who you are. Don't hold back, okay? And finally, taking a look at those that are single and happy, good for you. Leveling up with the energy of the 10 of Pentacles, taking work or school or some activity to the final, to that final moment. The important thing in this moment is to kind of like take off the mask is what I'm getting. Because the Queen of Pentacles is an achieving card. The 7 of Swords is achieving for the sort of love and approval of someone else. Because you're in the category single and happy, you don't have to do that. You can just pick your chosen family. You can do exactly what you want to do in this moment. And your energy of love and passion will pull in higher frequency friendships. If you're looking for new connections, I do feel like you can bring that in, particularly with coworkers and peers. Let's go ahead and take a look now at the Destiny card. This card was upright. We have the Knight ride here and these beautiful owls and an elephant. Elephant representing Lord Ganesha, being able to move past any sort of blocks in your life. The owls connected with Athena and being able to see through any sort of darkness or challenges that might present itself on the path in front of you. I think that you're in a very exciting moment in your life where with that star front and center, you have a chance now to expand into something new. It's a matter of trusting in that. Remember, I talked about the energy of moving upward. It takes time sometimes to level up, like the ivy on a trellis. Just keep moving day by day. And as we're looking at these cards here with Reclamation of Power, with the Ten of Pentacles, with the Page of Wands, we see things generally going in that right direction, but maybe taking a little bit longer than you might have thought. All right, it's now time to look at a final question or final card. All right, take a moment, focus on your question. I'm going to give the cards a shuffle. Let's see what Spirit wants to come through with. All right, we have the Hermit card, and it is in the reverse position. Surprise, surprise. The Hermit is saying, come out of your shell and show people what you have. She has the star there right on her chest. Usually the Hermit is holding a lantern, but suffice it to say these two cards go hand in hand. There's a lot to show, but if you're waiting for someone to come to you or see it automatically, this isn't the month for that. This is the month to push a little bit, not too much, just a little bit, and say, wait a second, especially if it comes to reclamation of power. The Hermit is a great card for learning, for gaining insights, and then eventually knowing when enough is enough. Because if we go too far into the Hermit energy, too far into what, sort of like questioning things, it becomes this. You have a stalemate. So instead, lean into knowing that, this is what I should focus on. Let's take that step. Let's close the laptop. Let's get out into the world and make it happen. As a yes or no, it's a yes, but don't overthink it. And everything else that I just said also holds true. All right, folks, I hope you enjoyed today's reading. If you did, do me a favor. Subscribe if you're new or if you've been looking for a long time. Once you've subscribed, you can leave a comment. Let me know what resonated the most. I read everything and I appreciate it. You can also join and become a channel member. There's a join button right under the video, or you can leave a sticker with your comment. All of these things help me buy more supplies and do more videos just like this. If you would prefer to do that elsewhere, you can go to PayPal. The link to this is actually in my bio on YouTube, or you can go to my website, nicholasashbaugh.com. From there, you can also get the official links to all of my social media platforms. It's just my full name, Nicholas Ashbaugh, on all those platforms. I'm on all the major ones, including Substack, I just joined, and also Blue Sky. So all of that can be basically discovered on my main channel page or on the profile here on YouTube. And that is everything. By the way, let's give Apollo a little pat on the head. I see him hanging out there. Hey, buddy. Who's a good boy? That brings this reading to a close. From my heart to yours, thank you for being the best part of what I do here on YouTube. Check out all the daily, weekly, and monthly videos on the main channel page. And until I see you again, be well.